And then I ran over her.
You ran over her on accident?
I was just in awe. I kind of had to pause there for a second and try to get my composure.
Oh my gosh, she just admitted she ran somebody over.
Do you remember what she looked like? We heard she was Mexican. Did you know that she was Mexican when you were approaching her? Yeah, when we saw her face, I did.
Because why didn't you stop? I'm just asking.
I was having anxiety that day, just thinking that she was trying to take over homes and just.
Okay. It's like taking over. What do you mean by taking over homes?
Taking over homes. Yeah. She was taking over the jobs.
Okay.
The homes and our jobs.
She keeps throwing out Mexican, taking our jobs, taking our homes. At that point, I knew it was way more serious than what I thought it was. It was a hate crime.
When you went over the curb, did you accelerate? Did you step on the gas? Yeah. Did you do it because she was Hispanic? Did that happen? You did. Okay. Were you hoping that you were actually kill that person? At that time, yes, at that time. Is that right? Yes.
When we walked out of the jail, we were both kind of in shock.
Being a minority, I promise you, it hits home.
First off, Bat, I want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well. And salutations to the elect brethren. I wanted to display this real-life account of the hatred that Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, has for the nation of Israel, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And to show you that we're in a current and present war where hostiles, our enemies, are seeking our lives. All right? And you have Jake out here as a whole walking around completely fucking clueless to the fact that this man is their mortal enemy. All right? And he's the devil the Bible speaks of. The literal, that fucking depiction of the nigga with fucking the red boy with horns and a pitchfork. If there ever was a person as that, it's this motherfucker, who's our oppressor, who walks up and down, the street beside us, and down the fucking aisle in the store, right? And wherever else we find ourselves at. See? And that this man is his intention and his purpose is to wipe us out as a nation. Okay? And you have Jake out here fucking with no idea what's going on out here. All right? And as it is, the plan of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, his objective to keep them blind so he can destroy them, it is to be an example to the righteous, all right, how to maneuver out here, and to them who might have not known it, but are gonna wake up unto salvation, because you still have the potential for that. There's always an opening while we still have time, all right, for the nation of Israel to pretty much pull their head out of their backside, man. Okay? Or at least they be destroyed by this fucking man. Scriptures talk about how we long time had war against Amalek, who is a tribe of the nation of Edom, Esau, which is the biblical identity of the Caucasian man. All right? And you saw it there that you have to include the woman and child, of course. What so-called white man, woman, and child. their whole fucking lineage, that it's embedded in his DNA to have hatred and an aversion and to want to kill the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? Ezekiel 35:5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. All right? And this is so vast, we can go in hours on this. This real life account that is a complete proof and confirmation of these scriptures of Jacob and Esau, okay, basically of us. We were brought over here on cargo slave ships, and then the other ones, Slocky. I say that because that's what my known heritage, right? That's my known ancestry, goes back to that. Shit, we could be fucking indigenous, like a lot of Jake that thought he came on boats, on cargo slave ships, really came over here. Before that, and we're indigenous to this land, came over here, pretty much during the initial migration of the northern tribes, the northern kingdom, okay, and the OG migration to Arsareth. All right, but my known ancestry, that goes back to being on cargo slave ships. But just as this woman that we saw, this girl, her tribe, Issachar, goes back to so-called Mexican, goes back to being indigenous to these lands, man. All right, and that going back to the time of their calamity. What did this so-called white man do to them in that day? And it's been like that ever since he came over here to this land. You saw that fucking bitch talking about they're taking our homes, they're taking our jobs, they're taking over pretty much. So this cunt drove her fucking Jeep up the curb over and ran this young woman over. Okay? And tried to kill her, like I said. She said, and she lied about it. She said, at first he did it on accident. All right? She said, I ran over her on accident. And then later, fucking not 30 seconds later, she goes on to say that she intended to kill her at the time. Okay? Because she had all those bottled up emotions. Because the downfall of Edom is at hand. And this piece of shit as a nation is fucking is plummeting in every area. In all the categories and shit. They're in that. They have the opioid epidemic is affecting them more widely than any other people, right? You got them. They're not procreating. They're on a what do they call that? Of course, it's a digression, but it's population decline. All right. When the deaths are greater than the births. You see. So there, that cup of mourning, as it says in Lamentation 4:22, just might have to pull it. Read the scriptures, right? Lamentations. Let's just get the whole chapter. I think it starts in 21. Lamentation 4:21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwells in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and that shall make themselves naked. The punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. So that cup, all right, that metaphorical cup that's passing unto him, okay, you saw it emotionally took that bitch into an emotional state. It immediately took her into an emotional state, okay, of mourning, right? She started crying for the woes of her people, right? A lot of Edomites are fucking downtrodden and broken down and destitute. You see them a lot in these encampments. A lot of them are fucking Edomites, man, down bad. All right, not to mention they're in a lot of these dilapidated communities around Babylon, these fucking trailer parks and all that. Well, that's the whole thing of PWT. Goes back to poor white trash, is a term that is reserved for these low class fucking peasant Edomites, man, that you be seeing. And that community of Edomites is increasing, you know, because it's a what? Does that mean that is here? I won't have to fucking dance around this statement. The reason, I mean, and the what that's doing, where do you think those fucking Edomites came from? They didn't just appear out of nowhere. They came from the upper and then middle class. All right, it's a transition of classes, man. They're transitioning from fucking upper class and middle class into lower class. All right. Further widening the gaps. You see, and then of course people are just fucking what they call like a fall from glory, which is they lose fucking everything, right? And then they're down at the bottom and fucked off, you know, just like this bitch probably was. You know, she probably had a nice pad, a family and shit. Why is she over there running down bitches? You know what I'm saying? Over there, she should be tending to some kids or something, or to her husband somewhere. You see? And then this is also, you could break this down fucking 144 ways from Sunday. But going into women gadding abroad, you know, this woman, and how they shouldn't be behind the wheel of anything, all right? Something that could cause such harm, and knowing the wickedness of this creature, the woman, and how much they're run by their emotions. And that's why you have vehicular manslaughter and all kind of shit like that is the highest in women when you look at between men and women, right? Just like that chick who ran across Stalker on fucking, where was that? Man, I don't know. I'm not sure if that was La Brea, but over there, somewhere over in that area, she blazed 100 miles across an intersection, man. Killed like 8-10 people, you know? So, but yeah, the hatred of these people is coming out on the highest level, especially in this time when it talks about this man coming down with great wrath. All right, the devil, Esau, Edom. All right, that's not just in reference to the elites who are going to roll out these agendas, these pretty much death agendas for the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans to come through and just slaughter them and cull them off. Okay, but that's not only going into those organized cullings, right? Uh, and the whole agendas and programs to just fucking wipe Jake out. But then that's also gonna go into your laymen Edomites. That spirit is just gonna be fucking is gonna be turned up. It's gonna be blaring, all right, like when you imagine a dial of sound on a car or a stereo. It's a circular dial, and when you turn that shit up to its blaring height, all right, it's gonna go max volume, and this time metaphorically on the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right. Let's get this. Jeremiah 17:4. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. Okay? So, this piece of shit, Esau Edom, he never gets enough. Here it is. He came over here and thefted this entire continent from a people. Okay? And then used them and their brethren that he brought over from across the ocean to build this fucking place up, gaining immeasurable, meaning that's a sum that cannot be measured, immeasurable wealth, okay, requiring them to work for free, building up this fucking place, all right, establishing his houses, his empires, okay. The empire as a whole. But when you look at all these different houses, all these different families, right? A man and his family and his lineage after that are like likened into many empires, and they call it that, a legacy. What do you think that this bread and these people who are on top, where do you think that comes from? A legacy that was established generations ago, and it's widely was funded and fueled off the back of fucking slavery. All right, the mass majority of the people who were in those positions was funded off of slavery. All right, so isn't that a bitch? This cocksucker came over here, thefted the land, slaughtered the people, the indigenous of the land, which were the northern kingdom of the nation of Israel that came over here. Straight up Israelites, okay? Kept a few of them and fucking displaced a lot of them. But the ones he allowed to stay here, he assimilated them and forced them to work and build up this nation. Went over the other side of the ocean, fucking thefted the brethren of the indigenous tribes here, the Israelites of the northern kingdom, okay, their brethren being the southern kingdom, and took them and brought them over here, built up this nation, okay. And now, several hundred years removed, now this man is trying to point the finger and blame them that he fucking slaughtered, man. It's complete madness. But that's why the Most High is going to put this madman down, all right? This rabid fucking dog, Esau Edom, man. All right? But, one of the primary reasons why you have shit like this bitch with her head not on a swivel, because that's the biggest problem, to not realize that your enemy is seeking to destroy you. All right, like it says, like a roaring fucking lion. This man Esau, she was essentially out there stalking our people, seeing a black, so-called black or brown face that she can pummel with her deep. Okay, and that's the problem, that our people don't know this. They don't realize this, man. They don't teach their children that from the fucking time that they can understand words, man. You see? And he's this cocksucker over here, if you see the full 8-minute clip video of it, the dad's over here talking about how the dad of the girl, 14-year-old girl who's run over by this bitch, he said, oh, we wanted to stay. We stayed in the community even after this bitch did it, so that we can, because the girl lived, all right? But I believe she was like paralyzed from the neck, the waist down. She couldn't feel her legs. But said they stayed in the community so he could teach his children a lesson that we belong here. Okay? Saying like we belong in the white man's community as well, not realizing that this was his fucking land, right? And also that really we belong nowhere near this fucking piece of shit. Or better yet, he belongs nowhere near not only us, but near any of the Most High's creation. Okay? It's like it says, not even near a dog, man. This vile, demonic, violent creature. Okay? So, not knowing there's a lot of disadvantages and actually deadly implications, fatal implications and consequences to not knowing your heritage, man. See, like this 14-year-old probably had her fucking AirPods on with the music on, not even checking to hear engine revving. Like she said, she gave her shit gas. And of course, to come up on the curb, you saw, if you see the video, there's full on acceleration marks, all up going up the curb and onto the sidewalk. All right. She tried to flatten this little girl out, man. All right. He says that we're serving our enemies, man. Okay. And I got this to show you. It says, in language thou knowest not, for you have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. And yeah, a lot of this is judgment from the Heavenly Father. But as aforementioned, it's a lesson for the nation of Israel to learn what the fuck is going on. That we're in war, man. We're behind enemy lines. It's all hostilities. You gotta understand what an enemy is, man. He's seeking to kill you. Enemy, an etymology, goes into in blue letters like an adversary, right? One hateful toward and intent on harming someone. So, enemy is not just an opposing force like the nigga on the opposing basketball team. It's an opposing member with the intention of killing you, man, of ending your existence. It says, enemy and adversary, a foe, demon, the devil. Indeed they are in this instance, context. It says, unfriend, which is like an unfriendly. Yeah, it says, there it goes, a hostile. All right. Here it is. Because, of course, it goes back to war. It's a military term. It says, member of an armed hostile body in a war or feud of the opposing military forces as a whole. Okay. So these are enemies, the nation of Esau, so-called white man, so-called Caucasians. All right. They're the hostile members in this war. All right. They're the hostile body of hostiles. All right. In this feud. It talks about in the scriptures that this is an ancient feud. It goes back to the garden. Enmity between the seed of the serpent, all right, and the seed of the woman of Israel, okay? And indeed, the imposing military forces, so they're seeking to fucking kill us, man. It's all hostilities. See? Let's get that. Hostilities goes into acts of warfare. So when you look at what these people have done unto us, they're acts of war, meaning they're grounds for us as a whole fucking nation to band our forces together, right? And, in formation in battle to wage war against these people for what they've done. Okay, these are straight up acts of war. This bitch to a completely what you would think innocent. It is according to so-called like certain like law, right? Not only Esau Edom's law, but like even the law in the scriptures, you can't just kill someone like that, even though the Most High was the one who made the person kill the person so he fulfills their purpose. So, and they died not being innocent. But when you look at it in a legal standpoint, not only even in the scriptures, right? Even in our law, of this woman, innocent, fucking walking down the street, minding her own goddamn business, and gets trucked. Okay, it's an act of war, and by all intents and purposes, she thought she killed this bitch. Okay, so Jake has no idea what the fuck is going on. We're in a land of our enemies. Okay, and Jake doesn't have his head on a swivel. It talks about that it's his whole purpose to destroy the Pope. All right. Let alone if he's talked about him shooting at the perfect. Let me see what that says. It said in Psalm 64 and 4, it says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. Okay. Really going into the elect, but as a whole, the nation of Israel is deemed as the poor, the perfect, right? The saints, the needy, the lowly. Okay. So if he's doing that, how much more is it fucking blatant? All right. That's the spirit. Let me drop down in Psalm 64 and 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. All right. So this bitch was over here telling on herself as well. All right, and you have that going on like crazy. Esau Edom is like a spokesperson for Jake about the crimes of his people. All right, and how they say we in the possessive because of their fucking Edomites who are coming out with this, saying we have to pay for this. All right, and look, you have a spirit of a can't help it spirit that is on these people that you could clearly tell on her. It was like it was an impulse. Well, like we brought it out, it is embedded in this in their DNA. An ancient hatred. All right, it's ingrained, deep seated. All right. Finishing off in Obadiah 1:10, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. All right. And so there'll be a time when this man is going to be fucking exterminated as a people. You see, for his war crimes against us. Okay, acts of warfare, which is insane because you have nothing but accounts of this in the history of America. Shit of Esau, so-called white man, stalking and killing our people. All right. The violence that is so, the rap sheet that is so great of the shit that is not even known to us, the so-called missing person cases, the unsolved cold case mystery files of our people, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and even them that are of confusion of faces that were put to death or kidnapped or destroyed or done harm to by an Edomite, unbeknownst to them. All right, because that's one of the elements of this. It's unbeknownst to them, ultimately because the Most High is God. Like it says, I know the way of man is not within himself, that he doesn't know. So that's why it's unbeknownst, okay, to them why they fucking hate us so much. To where you could have what you would think is a crispy nigga, right? Who has just this what is it called? Shit. When you have something that's like, it's not even needed. It's not unnecessary, but it's like uncalled for. What's the lock? Yeah, I can't think of that. But he just has this fucking hatred for no reason for this motherfucker who looks like a fucking straight up a stone cold Edomite. But that Edomite's really a Jake. And the what you think was a nigga is an Edomite. All right? And that motherfucker kills what you thought was an Edomite. Just to show you an example, man, of the countless cases and murders of what this is. That's that violence, man, against our people. The endless rap sheet on this fuck. All right, Esau, Edom, the seed of the serpent. All right, and this is gonna be repaid with extermination. Their entire fucking line, man, for shit like this. Like it said, they're like something that cannot be reformed. So something, so to an extent, all the other nations are going to be able to be made straight, all right? Because they're going to be allowed to to exist in the kingdom. That's why it shows you that the so-called white man cannot be made straight, because he's not going to be able to exist in the kingdom when only righteousness can dwell. All right. Think about it like this: life for wickedness is unsustainable in the kingdom. Just like we can't go to fucking Mars right now. So-called human life is not sustainable over there. Well, guess what? Wickedness and Esau, Edom, life for him is going to be unsustainable in the kingdom, man. All right? And all this shit that he's done is going to be repaid, man, with him being cut off forever. See? And this is just one of infinite accounts of this man's doings, man. Shit that wasn't solved or caught on camera, all right? Or where the bitch didn't give herself away, all right? And that will be revealed as well when we get through the rollback on this ship from the Most High. All right. So with that, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Shem HaKadosh.